Evaluation question 4. Who would be the audience for your media product? For our media product, our film is in the genre of a thriller. So we looked at a lot of thriller films and we realised that a lot of them were aged 18 plus. And we looked at films from like The Unholy, The Never List, and The Asylum. And we researched what the typical 18 plus film would contain. And we found out that a lot of them is very strong violence, strong language, sexual activity, discriminatory language or behaviour, drug taking, homophobia, and we realised that none of that actually fits in with our film and our idea. So we decided to research some thriller films that were aged 15 because that was the next lowest age rating we could looked at. And doing so, we found films like The Final Destination, which is full of gore and stuff, but there's still nothing that would put it in the category, nothing too extreme that would put it in the category of an 18 plus. So we decided to look at more thriller films that were 15 that we could relate to ours. So we found the Shutter Island, which is very similar to ours. It's about a similar character, like a doctor. And we looked at it and we read about it, and I've seen it before, and I know for a fact that there's not a lot of strong violence. There's no sexual activity. There's no gore. There's no discriminatory language. So we looked into that a bit more, and we referred to our old planning and our storyboards and stuff. Whereas they were very similar. So we realised that looking at this more realistically, our product could be aged at 15. However, a few months back when we first started and we first got our final storyboards and our planning, we made a couple of surveys and we gave them to our fellow classmates and a few of our friends, and we got them to watch our first and second drafts of our title sequence and then to fill out the questions of what they thought could be improving or what they liked, and mainly what the target audience could be. And the majority, or pretty much all of them, said probably a 15 because we initially told them that in the film we hadn't planned to have any sexual scenes or nudity or much strong language or gore. It was mainly just the storyline that was a bit harrowing that we thought was the only main reason it could be a 15. Looking back at their results, we all decided that it should be a 15. There's nothing in it that too extreme to make it an 18. Our title sequence is a psychological thriller, and we were inspired heavily by films such as Seven and A Beautiful Mind. We looked at their title sequences and tried to take as many small elements from and put them in ours. We didn't want to copy anything. We didn't want to make it too similar. We want to make it unique and our own. So despite being heavily influenced by Seven, if you look at both of them and contrast them, they are both very different. Our title sequence contains a lot of outside shots. However, we've taken things like the colouring. The Seven sequence is very, very dark, and we decided to use that in ours. And after experimenting and altering the filters, we realised that making it dark and black and white gave it a really nice effect. Also with the audio, after listening to the song played behind Seven, it was quite dark and abstract. So we found a song and we played it over top of ours, and it fitted perfectly, and it was very similar. It was quite a haunting, mysterious sort of sound. And the reason why we go with 14 as well, I mean 15 as well, is because we looked at the average age that people go to the cinema, and we found out that a lot of people under 18 do go to the cinema. 15, 16, 17 are the main ones. So we thought it would be a perfect opportunity not only to put it as a 15 because we believe it is a 15 and the content is of a 15 plus film, but we thought that putting it as a 15 as well would also gain more audience attention and probably make it more successful if it was to go into cinemas. Mainly because if we put it as an 18, not many people, people over 18 have other ways to socialise with their friends and go out and go to like bars and restaurants and stuff, where people under 18, like your 15, 16, 17-year-olds, evidently go to the cinema to socialise with their friends because it's only one of a few things they can do. So we thought putting it as a 15 would broaden our audience and make it more successful, and we didn't have to worry about any of our audience being offended or anything because we didn't actually stereotype any certain class. Like anyone, like a male or a female, could come watch our film if they're white or black or young or old or middle class or working class or able or disabled. It's all fine because we don't actually single out a certain group. And so overall, I think that our target audience would be, or is 15 plus if it was hit the cinemas, mainly because the content is all fine. It could even be questioned to be a 12 because there's not a lot in it that is actually quite disturbing, or there's nothing too explicit, or there's no bad language. We're not planning to have as much bad language in the actual film. It's just mainly the storyline. I think a lot like Shutter Island is quite some things can be quite disturbing, and it's quite an interesting and confusing storyline. So maybe the people a bit older will be able to understand and enjoy the film more. And being a 15, it just widens our audience and hopefully make the film more successful.